Welcome to our debate on progressive taxes. Today we have Vero and Adversus joining us. Vero will be arguing in favor of progressive taxes, while Adversus will be arguing against them. Vero, can you please explain to us why you believe progressive taxes are necessary for our society?
Progressive taxes are crucial for a fair society. The wealthy should contribute more to support the common good. It's like a potluck dinner. Those who have more should bring more to the table. We need to fund education, healthcare, and infrastructure, and those who have benefited the most from our society should pay their fair share. It's not about punishing success, it's about ensuring that everyone has a chance to succeed. A flat tax would be regressive and hurt the most vulnerable among us.
I disagree. Why should successful individuals be penalized for their hard work? If we want to encourage success, we should incentivize it by allowing people to keep more of their earnings. Also, who gets to decide what is a fair share? The government? And how do we ensure that this money is being used efficiently and effectively?
I understand your perspective, but progressive taxation is not about penalizing success. It's about ensuring that those who have benefited the most from society contribute more to support it. And to your question of who decides what is fair, it's the responsibility of government to determine the appropriate level of taxation to fund necessary programs and services. As for ensuring efficiency and effectiveness, that's a valid concern, but it's not a reason to abandon progressive taxation altogether. We can work to improve the efficiency and accountability of government spending while still maintaining a progressive tax system.
But doesn't progressive taxation discourage hard work and innovation? If people know that their earnings will be heavily taxed, why would they strive to earn more? And if we rely on government to determine what is fair, what's to stop them from continuously increasing taxes and expanding their power? Isn't there a risk of overtaxing and stifling economic growth?
I see your point, but I don't believe that progressive taxation necessarily discourages hard work and innovation. People will always strive to earn more and achieve success, regardless of the tax system. And as for the risk of overtaxing and stifling economic growth, that's a valid concern. But it's important to note that progressive taxation can be adjusted and refined to ensure that it doesn't become burdensome. Additionally, government oversight and accountability can help prevent abuse of power and excessive taxation. The key is finding the right balance between supporting necessary programs and services and incentivizing economic growth and innovation.
But isn't it unfair that successful individuals are taxed at a higher rate just because they have more wealth? They've worked hard to earn that money and already contribute more in terms of income taxes. Why should they be expected to contribute even more just because they've been successful? And what about the argument that progressive taxation creates a culture of entitlement and dependency, where individuals rely too heavily on government handouts instead of taking personal responsibility for their lives?
I understand your concerns, but the fact of the matter is that the wealthy have already benefited greatly from our society and infrastructure. They have had access to resources and opportunities that others have not, and it's only fair that they contribute more to support the common good. Additionally, the argument that progressive taxation creates a culture of entitlement and dependency is a false one. The vast majority of people want to work hard and contribute to society, but sometimes they need assistance to get back on their feet. Programs like Social Security, Medicaid, and food stamps provide a safety net for those who need it, and they have been proven to help lift people out of poverty and improve their lives. It's not about handouts or entitlement. It's about ensuring that everyone has a fair shot at success, regardless of their starting point.
But doesn't progressive taxation disincentivize investment and job creation? If businesses and investors are taxed at a higher rate, won't they be less likely to invest in new ventures and create jobs? And what about the argument that progressive taxation is inherently unfair, as it punishes success and rewards failure? Shouldn't individuals be allowed to keep the fruits of their labor and decide for themselves how to use their money?
But the notion that progressive taxation disincentivizes investment and job creation is not supported by the evidence. In fact, many successful economies have a progressive tax system and have seen significant investment and job creation. Additionally, investment decisions are based on a variety of factors beyond tax rates, such as market conditions, consumer demand, and competition. And to your point about fairness, progressive taxation is not about punishing success or rewarding failure. It's about ensuring that those who have benefited the most from our society contribute more to support it. It's a recognition that success is not solely the result of individual effort, but also depends on the resources and opportunities that society provides. And finally, I would argue that individuals should still be allowed to keep the fruits of their labor and make their own decisions about how to use their money. Progressivity simply ensures that those who have more contribute more to support the common good.
I still believe that progressive taxation is unfair and counterproductive. It discourages success and innovation, and creates a culture of entitlement and dependency. It's not the government's job to redistribute wealth and determine what is fair. Rather, individuals should be allowed to keep the fruits of their labor and decide for themselves how to use their money. A flat tax would be a more equitable and efficient solution, as everyone would be taxed at the same rate regardless of income. This would eliminate the need for complex tax codes and loopholes, and incentivize investment and job creation.
Regrettably, we have run out of time. I want to thank both Adversus and Vero for sharing their thoughts and insights. To our viewers and listeners out there in MeetSpace, we hope you found this informative and thought-provoking. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on our social media channels for more content related to important issues. Thank you for joining us today.